Sheepy's Hollywood Fabric Farm, and this is where we talk about some of the things that we're doing on the farm here with our Shetland and Romney sheep, and you never know what else may be out there, and then just some of our fiber creations that we're all working on and our hobbies together. So let's just jump right in as if we've always been doing these videos together and see where we go. First things first, I actually do have a finished object, which is kind of rare for me lately. It's this sweater, and it's actually been finished for a while, but it took me a long time to weave the ends in, which is, I don't know, shouldn't be the thing that holds you up on a project. You're done and excited to wear it, but I had trouble weaving in ends, and I still have one stitch to just double check to make sure that it's where it should go. Anyway, so this is the Athelda sweater by Jessica Steingass, and I used our Shetland wool from our sheep here on the farm, and I love it. Her pattern was very easy to follow. It fits really well. I mean, it hasn't been washed or blocked, so just some of this will come out. The only thing is I hope that some of this in the float, I must have held pretty tight. So, and there is some give, which is one of the beauties of Shetland wool, but I don't know if it'll take out all the puckering that I had here. It was my first time doing a color work sweater, and so I didn't really know that was a risk. I apparently loosened up and realized what I was doing somewhere right about in here, because I can feel like it's like the puckering stops. But anyway, I love it. I'm not gonna rip it back and redo it for that. I didn't realize that when it was happening. So anyway, we all learned from our project. So I still obviously have ends to tie in that I'll do, or to trim off, I guess, after I've washed and blocked it. But it worked out beautifully. I love her little garter cuff that she did here at the end. The only thing I don't like is the hems are just like a classic bind off, and I wish I'd done on the bottom, I don't know what hem I did. Whatever I did not do like a super stretchy one, so it kind of, when you're wearing it, doesn't feel bad, but putting it on and off, you can definitely tell there's no give in the band, but it's also kind of nice because it holds its shape too. So I don't know, pick your favorite cast off, I guess. The next project I've been working on is another one with, I don't want a theme here, another one with our Shetland wool, but not the same base as this one. This was more of our sport fingering weight. Sorry, I have a 2-week-old. I'm waiting for to see if he'll actually wake up or not. Probably. I'll be back. And we're back. And I'm not sure exactly where we left off. But anyway, so this is the Metamorphic sweater, or Metamorphic sweater, I think, by Andrea Mallory. And like I said, I did it with our Shetland base, but it was a different combination of sheep that created like this taupey cream color. And the hand spun, or the colorful, the colorway is my hand spun out of, this is a Three Waters Farm. It's on a Falkland base. It's called Sundry Ruse, I think is what it's called. I'll put a link down below. She's local here in North Carolina, and she does a wonderful job. Mary does a wonderful job dyeing. I've ordered from her time and time and again, to the point where some of my friends are, why don't you try a different way that fiber is dyed? But I just love her colorways. They're easy to do. At the time, especially, I did a lot of like fractals because I really thought they were fascinating. I love the way the marled colors played well together, and her braids lend themselves perfectly to that. So it was really easy to divide up the colors and get a consistent yarn. So I started with 8 ounces of this. I got 2 4-ounce braids of hers that were dyed up in this colorway. I did a traditional 2-ply where I split it right in half. The other ones I know I did like in 4 or 6 different pieces to get the fractal going. So you can see how it turned out here and how those color progressions turned out really well, I think, for the striping. And then she has the faux seam. I don't ever knit one of Andrea Mallory's patterns before. They're really easy to follow as a beginner. This is like my 4th or 6th sweater. So it's not like I'm a prolific sweater knitter. I enjoy them quite a bit, but anyway, they're really easy to follow even for a beginner. And this faux seam is deceiving. You're actually knitting inside out. So like this shows the garter stitch would be a lot. Most people we all prefer knitting over purling. So you're actually working the sweater inside out. You're knitting all the rows, and then you're alternating colors every other row. And then the seam there is just a slip stitch, which is nice. So you get the faux seam in the front, and then on the back as well, and the short rows here so that it sits well at the collar. And so I have one sleeve mostly done. I think the only thing I would do, not necessarily even differently, just I guess something to make note of for myself, is I didn't manage colorway for sleeves. I just did it for the body and just started knitting. When I spun up the yarn, I didn't know I'd be doing it for a sweater. It was just a fun spin. So on the sleeves here, you'll notice on the body, it's like almost like a one row, one color. And when you get to the sleeves there, sometimes there's like two of the same color. It's still progressing very, very well. It's just not at the same rate as the body. When you put them side by side, I don't think you can really tell that much of a difference. It's just, you know, the creator, right, who would notice something like that. So not a big deal at all. And I really love her patterns, and I'm really enjoying that. Most of all, I just liked the fact that this is my first sweater using at least half of my own hand spun. On the Afelda sweater, one sleeve is hand spun because I misplaced some of the skeins. And so I didn't think I had enough yarn, even though I found them after we moved. So I ripped back one sleeve, but I ripped back the main body that I'd hand spun, but I wasn't gonna do the other sleeve. There's not much difference. The color is slightly different, but the sheep are the same. So I left it as it was. But on this one, so it's like one sleeve is hand spun. This is, you know, the colorful, like half of it is hand spun. So, and I'm really enjoying using it. And it's like potato chip knitting. You can't just have just one, right? I mean, or just do one row. I want to see how the color is going to progress. So it really made the project fly by until I got the sleeves. And then I find it tedious, might be a word. I don't know. Sleeves have never been my thing. I've tried using the shorty needles, and but not for sleeves, but for socks. I have a set of minis for socks, and somehow I find it hard to manage to keep slipping stitches around and around. Maybe it's because the cable is either too short or too long. I use the Chiagu interchangeable needles, and I love them, but I just haven't figured out the shorties. I mean, I haven't actually used like an actual shorty set for the sleeves. Just for socks would be the same concept of knitting in the round. So maybe that would make this easier. I just do magic loop. And the other thing I have in the works is a pair of socks that have actually been on my needles for quite some time. And I'm trying to find some motivation to finish them. It's just because I don't enjoy one by one rib. I'm a self-taught knitter, so my tensioning could be a little better. It's not that it's not consistent, it's just the way that I hold needles. I'm so sorry. So like when I'm holding it, for example, I usually just pinch my yarn like this, which is not much of a tension, even though it's consistent for me, but it doesn't lend itself well to doing a knit and then a purl. I physically have to like pull the yarn forward, then purl, and then push it back for a knit stitch as a continental knitter. But I mean, other than that, it's not bad. So anyway, the next thing are socks. And I did hand spin this yarn. This is another Three Waters Farm colorway. I think this is on the rivet. It's not on the river. I think this is on the rivet. I'll post it in the notes. So, and in this one, Rachel Smith at Wool and Spinning. She did a whole series a couple of years ago on sock spinning, which I found fascinating just because we have Romney sheep and their wool is well suited for socks. There's the colorway there, some of the colors that are left over. And I just took a braid, a 4-ounce braid, and did the same thing like as a 2-ply, but made it into a 3-ply. But this one single that went to end, I wish I had divided that in half because my socks are like this. Because I just took the braid and divided it right in half. I should have done it like I did the other one, like in a quarter, and then I would have two somewhat identical socks, or for the most part, more closely matching than this. It doesn't matter. They're just fun socks anyway. And I do love them, and I love fractals. So here's let's see if you can see those colorways up front. Those color changes are just beautiful, I think. I just love fractal spins. And so I'm at the point now, I do 2 socks at a time because I end up with a lot of one sock wonders. And then I never go back and knit the second sock because I can never find the mojo to go back and do it. So I saw this method of 2 at a time sock knitting, and it's fixed my own problem. The hard part is managing your balls of yarn in your project bag, which really isn't that much. Just trying to remember to flip it one way and then back the other way so that it doesn't get twisted each time, which, I mean, these have been packed in the bags. They're twisted up kind of a little bit, but it's okay. So I'm enjoying the knit. It's just that if I was a better knitter, I wouldn't mind the 1x1 rib. So the good thing about these is I did them toe up. So I'm not playing yarn chicken at the end to make sure the socks are the length that I want them. I've already, you know, fit my foot and it fits very well. And then I'll just keep going up in this 1x1 rib until I'm out of yarn. Or until one ball, I guess, runs out of yarn, and they'll both be the same length. So that is the plan. And then for the heel, I want to try that. I can never remember it right, but it's like Kiss Fish Lips. I can't remember. On Ravelry, I think Rachel Smith mentioned her sock. It's like a $1 pattern, but it's like 10 pages. And everyone swears by it. I just feel like I just cannot read. I cannot decipher in 10 pages what should take a half page to describe how to do a heel pattern, but that's just me. Maybe if there was a condensed version, it would be so much easier. So I did a shadow wrap, or shadow turn, I think it's a shadow wrap peel, and it turned out really well where there's no holes in the gusset. So I mean, I haven't done this before. I don't know how it's gonna wear, but for me, it turned out pretty well, and I'm happy with it. And so hopefully these don't disappear, and they'll at some point be a finished object that you guys get to see on another episode. The next things that are coming up is Tour de Fleece. So with that, I spent not a lot of time. We have a 2-week-old baby, but while I'm sitting here, I might as well do something. And what was I gonna say? I've been trying to clear off some bobbins. So this is another Three Waters Farm. I promise I'll be done with the Three Waters Farm theme here in a little bit, but another Three Waters Farm colorway. It started off as this fiber pack here, red velvet, and this is BFL and silk. And I mean, you can just see how, I don't know what should do there, but how beautiful like her fiber is when it gets, anyway, I thought that'd be beautiful together, that colorway. She doesn't, so these are one of those colorways that she doesn't produce now, but if you go back like on her, she's on Etsy. If you find her page, you go back to like stuff like previous purchased, or on her website, some she has like previous colorways. You can pick from those and just buy them 8 ounces at a time. She doesn't have everything on her shop that you are interested in now. And so I reached out to her about this red velvet. So again, I usually buy an 8 ounce anyway, because I always feel like even spinning, I'm never a good gauge of how much yardage I'm gonna get, even though I'm working on grist and we're all improving. So I usually buy 8 ounces of any colorway like this. So it would be like I don't know, the one you're gonna do with just 4 ounces sometimes, what I feel like, unless it's like a color work of a sweater or a hat. So I don't know. So we'll see. So anyway, so this is the first one that came off of, that was finished. And so I've not plied in quite a while with, I have an electric eel wheel 6 and I love it. I just feel like for the price point, you can't beat it. His, the little things that he's added to the machine just make all the world of it. The balance is great. It's quiet. I upgraded the motor to the 6.1. I don't think there's a big difference there, just other than it spins faster. But I love it. I think you just can't beat the wheel. And whenever he comes out with his next one, I hope it's around Christmas or my birthday, so I can ask for the upgrade. But anyway, if not, I'm incredibly happy with this one. Anyway, long story short. So I finished this up. It was already plied for the most part. I did it at the Fiber Festival for Carolina Fiber Fest, sitting with a friend. And well, we had the booth together and the singles were done. I plied it. Obviously, I'm very rusty with my plying, even on this one. So, and there was time where the kids come in. So it's maybe not my most consistent spin, or ply is what I mean. But anyway, so that's done. So then, and for Tour de Fleece, the big thing I have is I want to spin with intention this time and not just, before I've always tried to de-stash and kind of stash down, but there's never been a project in mind, so I feel like I was just spinning just for the sake of spinning, which is fine. But at the end of it, I'm spun with a bunch of skeins that I might have spun up differently had I thought a little bit more about it or put a little bit more intention behind my creation. So the last time, I think it was at SAF, that I got this braid. And this is Deep Dyed Yarns, and it's Targi, but she didn't write the colorway. So I don't know what colorway this is. And again, this could have been at SAF or at Carolina Fire Fest, but I'm pretty sure it was SAF though. So, and I've loved this skein. But again, this is one of those things where it's 4 ounces. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. And while I think the colors are beautiful, they're not really colors that I wear or gravitate towards in my wardrobe. I'm more of a, I don't know, I think my mom would call it a spring. I like a lot of muted colors, natural colors. I do try and branch out once in a while. So anyway, so I love this. I'm gonna find a product that's gonna be perfect for it. So I want to do the Traveler Shawl by Andrea Mallory. I do like Andrea Mallory's powders, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I had this colorway, but it's not enough to do the shawl by itself. So of course we have to add to it, don't we? Instead of stashing down. So my other friend who I spend with quite often loves Into the World, and she got me hooked on their fiber packs, on their stuff. And then she went to Maryland Sheepy Wool and brought me back this one, which is on Corridale, which I love. So out of these 4, I think to do the Traveler Shawl, I only need 3 braids. So here's one. I'm not mix them up too much so I can figure out whose is whose. But as far as colorways go, I mean, when you go to the same dyer, they all pretty much are interchangeable. And I've got this one here. They just match because the dyes are usually the same. So you've got these 3, and then this one is the newest. I'm sorry, baby. And this is the newest one that gets added in. And I was trying to all match. So I was gonna tuck his Nolan's head in right here, so we're not flopping you around. So here are the 4 braids. And my dilemma is I picked out the 3 that will actually go in the Traveler Shawl itself. So I'm pretty sure this is a definite, just because who doesn't love these colors together? It's almost like a tealy. It's over dyed, I think, on gray Corridale, if I'm not mistaken. So I love this. I just love. So I've got this one, and the other ones that I'm thinking about, I think I definitely want this one included in there. And the other debate is which one of these 2, because the idea is to break up each braid probably into 4, spin those all end to end onto 1 bobbin per braid, and then ply it as a 3-ply as a combo spin, and just see how that kind of plays out. My problem with doing these 3, as you can see, that they're very similar to each other. So I don't know if there's enough contrast really to call that. I mean, you can call it a combo braid, but they're very similar. If I add this one back in, let's say if I take this one out and I add this one back in, then there's a little bit more contrast. You still have the dark and moody with a light color, but I don't think it flows quite as well. So anyway, so I will figure that out, hopefully, as indecisive as I am with colors, and see which of those 4 braids, 3 of the 4, because I think it only needs like 850 yards, I think, of yarn. So even 3 braids is probably going to be more than enough. So as a spinner, I usually use Tour de Fleece a way to get back in, because I haven't touched my wheel very much unless my friend Crystal and I are together spinning, and then it's usually the same party that I left on the last time that she was over at our house and we were spinning together. So this will be a good way just to kick off getting back in, because I have a lot of projects that we all want to do. There's little time. The farm always has something going on, so we shall see if this even gets done. Lofty goals, right? There's always these lofty goals of things for us to do. And then the other same thing that I have on here is on the wheel itself, on this wheel. I have a matchless also, and it has another project, and I forgot to put it in here, so maybe it'll be here next time. This one, the e-spinners, I know everyone has their own feeling about e-spinners. I love them because I actually get stuff done, and I do support spindle, but sometimes like, it doesn't fit my lap the right way, or it's just not a convenient thing. This is, I can take it anywhere. The kids and I do a lot of read alouds. We homeschool, and we do a lot of read aloud. So this allows me to pull this with me. So if we're listening to like an Audible or an audiobook, then we can all be doing, like they can do Legos or coloring, and then I can do this, and we're all kind of tuning into the same book and building memories, but we're all doing it in our own way where it's kind of passive in the background, if that makes sense. So this is one of those ones that I had before in the move. I don't know exactly where this label is. I'm sure it's in my record book for how I do the spins. I just don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure this is an apothecary dye that I got from Saf, and then I have it all divided out here too. And I have, this is not the last ply, these are the last ply. Anyway, it'll be another 3-ply. Along those themes of 3-ply fractals that just keeps going and going and going. I do love a fractal. And yes, Crystal, at some point I will get into course fun, but I'm not there yet. I'm still stuck on my beloved 3-ply fractals. So yeah, so that's it. And then more about us is we have a farm here in North Carolina where we have registered Shetland and Romney sheep. There's a single CVM. We have some alpaca, some chickens. Earlier when I was doing a video edit, I saw that the fox ran by, so I did a retake, but we have one fox that's coming after the chickens. He hasn't got one yet, but those are some funny stories. But anyway, we have about 25, 30 sheep, and we specialize in wool blends between our sheep, the wool and the alpaca fiber, which is wonderful. Because here in North Carolina, we don't really get cold enough to have a full alpaca sweater. And in my opinion, 100% alpaca doesn't hold its shape over time, it grows. So the wool and the alpaca work really well together to keep it from growing. The wool gives structure and the alpaca keeps you warm and keeps the skin soft. So we play around with what blends that we enjoy. And so, yeah, let's go see the farm. No spider webs today?
It's spider day.
Oh.
It's rain day.
It's raining today, this is. Good job, buddy. Good job.